Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Dr. Aliaa Morsy, the economic analyst. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
We were speaking, and the main topic for tonight was the impact of the wars as we have seen in the past 40 days, and even until now, during the negotiations phase between the United States and Iran in Pakistan that took place over the past couple of days. It had negative impacts on the global economy, and more specifically on Europe. For example, as we are stating today, France is thinking about having another diversification, economic diversification, away from the Federal Reserve System. How do you see the negative impacts of the war taking place in the Middle East on the global economy in general, first of all?
So first of all, I see this is a strategic movement from France in order to repatriate their gold from the federal system, in order to protect their assets and modernize their holdings. So I think this is part of hedging or protecting their own good during the war and during the current events, the oil shocks. So they want to have diversification in the financial system and in the financial market. And this is not considered a point of de-dollarization. It's point of diversification for a more multipolar financial system and a more multipolar world instead of a post-dollar world. So I think this is like a part of strategy management and risk management here. So I don't see this as like a full over dependence on the dollar.
Yes.
And not like a full over reliance over the euro itself.
So there is a shift. There's changes.
I see this
changes.
is a gradual shift. It could be considered like incremental one, and not like a disruptive or a rapid one. So I think the world is now moving towards a less dependent on the dollar itself.
Is it according to the wars that have taken place for the past 4 or 5 years, and the coronavirus pandemic and the Russian-Ukrainian conflict?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is because of the current events running in the Middle East specifically. And this is because the dollar has deeply invested or seen in many markets or in many areas in the economy. So and this is due to the deep financial markets in the U.S. and institutional stability and the global trust in the euro, in the dollar, itself. So I think this is due to the Ukrainian and Russian war, and the current war in the Middle East between the U.S. and Iran.
And speaking about France, more specifically, to be bringing back 100% of the gold reserves from the Federal Reserve to its own soil or on its own soil in France, how do you think this will be affecting the bilateral relations between Europe in general and the United States, and more specifically between France and the United States politically and economically?
I don't see that this will affect it in a negative way, because this is, as I said before, this is considered like a gradual shift, not a rapid movement, and not I cannot say that they fully taken out all of their investments from the U.S. from the U.S. market. So they are working on being moreover relying on their own currency. They want to diversification of their own currencies and to be less dependent on the dollar, just in case we have another war or another crisis going all over the world. So this is not considered a political hinder or a political issue for the U.S. or between the U.S. and France.
But as you mentioned, Doctor, the world is shifting and it is going towards the diversification of the economy, to be de-dollarizing the global economy. How do you see the response of the United States, especially towards countries like China, like Russia, like France, as we see nowadays, Iran?
Of course,
the war is going on.
Of course, there will be some sort of resistance, but it can be in a response for the current events going for the U.S. and the U.S. of course knows that this is affecting their own economy and their own financial markets.
The sanctions that are being released by the United States against Russia in the past, against Iran nowadays, against China, quite possibly by the US President Donald Trump, are those sanctions affecting negatively the American economy? Not the global economy, but the American economy itself?
Yes. It affects it by, we have weak economy, or sanctions being applied on that certain country, and of course it will affect the trade between that country and the US.
And to be getting back the gold reserves from the Federal Reserve, for example, by France and by other countries, do you think that this will be strengthening the economies of the European countries?
Of course, they will be more relying on their own currency, the euro. They won't to increase the value of the euro over the dollar. I cannot say that they will compete the dollar at one time, but I can say that we have a multipolar currency going on and there around the world.
Yes, and we have seen for the past month or so, 40 days, maybe more, the negotiations between the United States, Iran and Israel, and before that the war raging in the Middle East since the 28th of February and until recently for the past week, I think. How do you think the Middle East war will be affecting negatively the global economy and more specifically the regional economy for the upcoming 6 months to a year?
Because the Middle East have a huge amount of oil.
Yes.
The price of oil is going to be affected by the current war and by the current crisis going all over there. So the price of the oil will be increasing in dollar. And so the other country or the other countries, whether in Europe or all around the world, they want to take some sort of precautions in order to be safe and in order to protect their own goods in the Middle East, in order to protect their own countries and have their own reserves, whether from gold or any other hard currencies. So I think that the Middle East current events and current crises are deeply affecting the world from the side of the oil chocks or oil tanks.
And speaking not just about the response of the United States, but the response of other central banks from around the world. Even here in Egypt, we have seen several measures being taken by the central bank, by the Egyptian government, directives by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to be absorbing the economic shocks of the Middle East war. Do you think that other central banks around the world could be following suit what happened in France?
Absolutely, every country will be working on their own goods, on their own population in order to protect or to make some sort of hedging in order to take their own precautions in the face of all of the current events, not only in the Middle East, but all over the world. So every central bank is already taking their own considerations and their own precautions in order to protect the population and to have their own reserves of everything.
But one important factor here is the timing, because this step was taken by France just before the strikes took place between the United States and Israel and Iran in the Middle East. How do you see this timing?
France is already working on that since a lot of years.
So it's not about the war now?
It's not a sudden movement. So they are working on that from early stages, not only because of the war in the Middle East.
So what are the deep reasons that they have thought about that even before the re-election of Donald Trump?
They wanted to have their own dependence, not only to be only dependent on the USD and to make the USD the only factor that shaping the world economy. They want to take a stance there and present their own currency and to present their own economy other than the US one.
And this will be strengthening them, of course.
No, of course. Not on the short term, but I guess on the long term we'll be having more improving or more proven results resulting from such movement.
Speaking about the long term, what are the worst case scenarios in your opinion after the negotiations have failed between the United States and Iran, economically?
Yes, economically they will be affected from the side, again, from the side of the oil prices, their energy reserves, and their own imports. The increase of the prices of their imports will be deeply affected by such movement or such case between the US and Iran.
Is there, in your opinion, a global decline in confidence in the US dollar, especially that
Yes.
the BRICS, for example, they are also thinking about the same strategy, like
Yes.
de-dollarizing the economy, their economies to say the least. Do you think that the confidence in the American dollar is waning by the year?
I guess it's some sort, I cannot say that it's declining,
Mm.
but we have other alliances appearing over the time. We have other countries that are working on itself or on themselves in order to have more proven currencies all around the world. But of course, the USD has some sort of global trust that I can trade in, because they have, the US, they have like some sort of institutional stability and more confident financial markets that a lot of countries can invest in.
But we have seen the prices of gold skyrocketing past the $4,000 mark, maybe 4,800 and something.
Yes.
For today. Does this mean that gold is still the safest haven nowadays, instead, of course, of currencies in general and the US dollar in specific?
Yes, I think so. So a lot of people are, not only people, are also countries are
people
keeping
are
their
too.
own yes, are keeping their own reserves in gold. So this is the best or the safest haven in order to keep your money or to keep your investments in.
But does this mean that we could be anticipating another increase in the prices of gold?
Yes, a little bit. As far as we have current or ongoing uncertainties or instability, whether in the region or in the worldwide, so this is expecting to be higher in the future.
There are tensions between the United States and more specifically the American President Donald Trump with the members of the NATO, for example, with the European Union, with the West in general, because they have not supported him during the war against Iran. On the other hand, as we did see the step by France, it was taken already. Does this mean in the future, in the near future, for the maybe upcoming 6 months or a year, we could be anticipating the same move by other European central banks to be following suit after what France did?
I think this is going to be like encouraging steps for other countries in order to protect their own selves from the upcoming uncertainties, whether again in the regional phase or in the global phase. So I guess a lot of countries are going to do the same in order to protect themselves.
For the last 5 minutes of the daily debate for tonight, I would like to focus on the Egyptian efforts during the war to be absorbing the economic shocks. How did you see the measures taken by the Central Bank of Egypt, by the government of the country under the leadership of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to be dealing with the negative implications of the war?
In my opinion, they have made a lot of smart options and a lot of smart steps in order to face the current war, specifically in the areas of the energy reserves and something like that. A lot of decisions have been made in order to make the Egyptian people consume less energy and rely on other alternatives. I think they have made a lot of precautions in order to have the food security and be secured enough in over the next months, especially that we have a lot of issues in the trade, and the other economic countries are facing a lot of issues due to the war. So they have made very smart steps and very smart options in order to protect the Egyptian people and population from such issue.
Yes, speaking about the energy reserves and the food security, one of the main priorities for the Egyptian people and according to the directives of the political leadership as well. But we needed the awareness of the Egyptian people to be understanding what is going on in the region, in the Middle East, between Iran and the United States, something that we did not used to have before 2011 and 2013. Do you think that we have this awareness now to be understanding what is going on, to be accepting those measures?
We already have it. I've seen a lot of media campaigns, especially from some Egyptian actors, are raising awareness towards the electricity consumption. And I believe that this is a very, very smart movement as well from the Egyptian actors in order to raise awareness for the Egyptian people, in order to be fully aware of the current events or the current issues running on or going on in the region.
And how do you see the importance of the transparency and the interaction between the political leadership, between the government, between even the Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources to be coming out and speaking that we have something less, we have some mishappenings that took place due to the war, due to the negative repercussions of the war. And this means that there is interaction according to the directives of the political leadership with the Egyptian people, and they understand. But we didn't used to have this transparency and this interaction. How do you see the future of the Egyptian economy within this new strategy, within this new policy?
I feel this makes the Egyptian population more connected to what we are going to do or what we are facing currently. They make them some sort of connected to the decisions or to applying the decisions themselves. So I think this is very important to include the population or the people with you. This is a very smart step from the leadership itself in order to make people more connected, more engaged in such decisions, and that's it. So I think this is a very, very, very good movement from the government itself.
Yes, Dr. Aliaa Morsy, the economic analyst, thank you very much for being with us tonight on Daily Debate. And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching and goodbye.